Hey everybody, welcome to Bearded Baker Banter. This is season 2 of the Sports Podcast. Welcome Trent, and welcome back Trey.
Hello, how you guys doing?
I am feeling like a new year, new me. I don't know what it is. I just do.
New you already. 5 days, 4
Well,
days
yeah,
in.
I mean, it's 2024. It's a new me.
All right. Well, hopefully you're able to. Hopefully we're able to continue with some of our picks here, with new us. Keep us going here. Keep us rolling. Couple hot picks lately. Nice little 3-0 day a couple days ago. So let's keep things rolling.
That's right. College basketball's treating us pretty nice so far.
Yes, it is. You can kind of feel the shifting here, momentum-wise, in terms of like gambling and picks. I'm finding myself staying up pretty late at night to watch Utah Tech and Seattle, and
Oh yeah.
it's getting to be that time of the year for sure.
Well, how about even a 10:30 tip-off the other night? Colorado State versus New Mexico. I mean, that was actually a heck of a game.
Yeah.
Or a heck of a matchup. I should say Colorado State handled them. But you're right. There's nothing better than staying up for that West Coast basketball.
Yep.
And you know what's nice is you're starting to see the college basketball schedule start to kind of like divvy out throughout the week. You know, early on it feels like all games are like 1 or 2 days a week, and then you're like looking for an incredibly tough board of just like a handful, 5 or 6
Like
games.
6 games, right?
Yeah, you can choose from. You're like, man, these aren't really teams that I'm capping or a conference that I like to cap. So that's tough, but it is starting to get to that like little bit of routine, I guess. You know, like this past week, Big Tuesday. I mean, holy hell. That was Big Tuesday, and we got a good Saturday board coming up, too.
Yeah, and look, kind of add on to what you said, Trent, the dust is kind of starting to settle, too. First 4 games, I would say, of teams' like schedules, it's kind of tough to get a read on them. Different, like, conference matchups. Some teams are, like, playing a much tougher conference, get better recruits, vice versa. So now you're starting to get into conference play, and you're starting to see which teams are going to set themselves apart and really compete and earn a tournament spot. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time.
And I will say this, that, you know, we talk about capping some of the smaller games, too, with some of these not smaller games, but some of the smaller universities and colleges and stuff. I will say, books have been pretty spot on with some of them.
Yeah.
Like, they're getting pretty close. I think it was Cleveland State game, I think Thursday night, last night, was 4.5. Cleveland State ended up winning by 5. Like, you're starting to see some of these teams, and I'm like, all right.
Well, Tyler, I remember earlier in the year we won a couple bets on some hooks, and now I think in the last couple of days we actually lost some on some hooks. So it's like, I mean, credit to them. I know we always give credit to the line makers and the books and stuff, but man, they're getting sharper and sharper. That's for sure.
I think Murphy Lee said it best. What the hook gonna be?
Oh, man. Just
half a point.
The St. Lunatics.
St. Lunatics, shout out to Murphy Lee.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, hey, let's talk to the league that is wrapping up this weekend. Regular season NFL. It's crazy.
Can you believe it?
No,
it
I
is.
can't.
It's
They go so damn
fantasy
fast.
football championship should be done. We're starting to see the playoff picture. We got a handful of teams that are still potentially in the hunt to sneak their way in.
Yeah.
I would say that there's definitely some teams out there that I think significantly overachieved.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But then again, I think there's also a decent amount of teams out there that significantly underachieved. But then again, I'd like to kind of deem this season the year of the backup quarterback.
Dude, for sure.
My goodness.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness.
Well,
Most important man on the roster, boys.
And it's also how some of the coaches were, not even just quarterback, Trent, like how some of the coaches were able to navigate some of the, injuries on their teams and, hey, we're going to bring this guy in. Hey, we're signing this guy. I mean, let's talk about, we'll get into it probably a little bit later, but like Joe Flacco for the Browns. Like Joe Flacco wasn't even on the team to start the year. He was started on the team about 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now they're resting him this week because they're clinched.
Here's a little fun fact for
Joe
you.
Flacco. Put that in perspective.
Trey, before you give us the fun fact, Ty, you're so right. Some handled it really, really well. And And then, you got guys like Robert Saleh that just handled it terribly.
Oh, my gosh. He's an instigator, man. Trent's an instigator, Tyler.
Dude.
It's
yes.
not.
We're not going to get into this. We're not going to get into this because
Trey, I mean, let's just put it this way real quick. And this is, I want to get this off my chest. Robert Saleh has coached more games for the New York Jets than Eric Mangini did. Okay? Robert Saleh supposedly has job security with a 33% win percentage, whereas Mangini had a 48% win percentage with the Jets. So all I'm saying is these, and I think it goes to the coaches. Some of these coaches are, what do they? How did Lombardi put it on McAfee? They're elected. They're not hired, right?
Yeah.
Did Eric?
I have a question. We could talk about his stuff because I listened to him the other day and that was very important. But wasn't there a song about Eric Mangini on Step Brothers? Brennan's got a Mangini.
No.
That's got all the songs.
Wow.
What, Mangini?
No, but I have a question for you. Did Eric Mangini's front office waste the second overall pick on Zach Wilson?
No, probably.
Okay. Did Eric Mangini's team get an All-Pro Hall of Famer quarterback injured on the third play of their season with an All-Star elite roster around him besides the quarterback?
Trey, I think the Jets have a pretty damn near All-Star elite roster.
Yeah, except for the guy that has to touch the ball on every single play.
I guess that's a good question. Who was Eric Mangini's quarterback?
Was it Vinny
Probably Mark Sanchez.
No.
So,
I think no.
Man,
those are
Chad
two. Hold on.
It was Chad Pennington.
Trey, did you just help? Did you help your cause or did you hurt your cause there?
About what?
I mean, we're talking potentially Chad Pennington, or you just even like
Chad Pennington's better than Zach Wilson.
What about Mark Sanchez?
Mark Sanchez was pretty decent.
Mark Sanchez was Rex Ryan's years, Trey. I think
he was. But hold on, Mark Sanchez went to back-to-back AFC championships, right?
Because of that defense.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. At least Mark Sanchez could do something.
But once again, what I'm saying is they made the playoffs, whereas you have a same caliber type defense, and you're not making the play. Why? Because they had Rex Ryan as their coach, not Robert Saleh.
So who would you take, Trent? Would you take Zach Wilson or Mark Sanchez to build a franchise around?
Okay,
and take you into a playoff run?
I'll plead the
Here's
fifth.
Mangini's quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's Mangini's quarterbacks from 06 to 08. He had Pennington.
Okay.
Then he had Pennington for 8 games. Kellen Clemens because Pennington got hurt.
A backup trade.
And then in 2008 he had Brett Favre.
Oh my goodness! You can eat your. I almost made us explicit, but you can shut up then.
Those are all better than Zach Wilson.
Trey, I'm just saying it's once again.
So of course Eric Mangini. Of course Eric Mangini is going to have a better record than Robert Saleh. Of course he is.
But you really have to look at the comparison. If you're going to put Brett Favre there too as Mangini's last quarterback, that was supposed to be Rodgers this year. It's the same scenario because this is technically Saleh's third year, right?
So
second year,
Trey,
third year.
Trey, can I just say? Can I ask you something?
What?
You were very like, I don't recognize Aaron Rodgers by name anymore, and I don't get why everyone's saying that.
I never said that. I was
totally did run the tapes.
All right.
But
that's me being a sour Packers fan. I like Aaron Rodgers.
Are you thoroughly convinced that at age 41 or at 42, coming off of such a significant injury, do you really think he's going to return to MVP caliber? Because his last year in Green Bay, I know he didn't have a good team around him, but he had a similar team around him as to what's around Love right now, and they look better.
Yeah, I don't know after the injury. It's tough to say, but I think just the prospect of having a Hall of Famer there that was capable of doing what Rodgers does, really opens up the door for their whole offense in general.
I mean, it is better than Wilson, but I'm just saying I am
much better than Wilson.
The news breaking that Flacco actively reached out to the Jets and Robert Saleh said no.
You sure it was Robert Saleh or was it their GM? because we also have to keep the
Yeah,
GM.
that's what I'm saying.
We also
Like,
have to keep the
you
GM in mind here because
My
Saleh
sources
makes
say
the
Robert
players'
Saleh.
decisions.
Trent wants it to be Robert Saleh.
My
But
sources say Robert
in reality, Tyler, in reality, you do what you can to keep the roster.
News.
Hold on. You do what you can to keep, guys, you do what you can to keep that defense together. But the majority, the core of the players are around there, so you don't make crazy contractual obligations for 1 year. When you have your guy returning and you want him to have that roster, you don't want to make drastic changes and sign. Joe Flacco's getting paid $4 million this year. That's pretty significant for a 41-year-old quarterback that's just coming in
With a lot of bonuses
to play for. Yes, but all I'm saying is the Jets aren't going to do that. They weren't going to sign a Matt Ryan. They weren't going to trade for a Kirk Cousins or anything, because why would they do that for less than half of a season?
Trade, win now. Win now.
Okay, but not when you have the prospect.
Not everybody takes that into consideration.
All I'm going to say is nothing is guaranteed next year either with Rodgers back. You could who knows? You get serious injury on the defense.
If you lived your life like that, then you'd be doing nothing.
Win now. I mean, that's why I like what the Browns did.
All right.
The Browns took their shot with the backup, and they went. Okay, I'm sorry.
So that's all right. So let's get into.
Kind of our niche is we're unscripted here, so we go on rants and
we banter a little bit. Let's jump into the playoff
I blame Trent
picture
because
there.
he brought up Robert Saleh, and I can't let that go.
I do appreciate you backing him, Trey. Even though he's not a Niner anymore, at least I'm impressed that you back him up, because we've kind of that's kind of a connection we have.
Because he's in such a crappy situation. If one play didn't happen, he'd be being praised for being this awesome coach, reigning in an elite young defense and winning games.
Their defense is elite. I'll give you that.
That quarterback situation is the worst in the NFL.
Yeah.
Elite defense.
But if you do go back and look at like Zach Wilson at BYU.
What did Flacco just do to that elite defense last week?
But my point is
shit on him.
Yeah. My point is what happened to Zach Wilson though too? Like what happened? Something happened there.
I think immaturity.
Who's supposed to develop the players? Then maybe Robert Saleh's staff sucks.
Oh my God!
All right, moving on. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna look at some of the playoff pictures coming in here into Week 18. Obviously, the games this week are extremely tough to pick, simply because of the fact of who in the hell is sitting and who's playing and who's not playing. How long are they gonna play? What games matter? What games are kind of just, hey, another exhibition game, make sure our backups are all set just in case. So we'll get into that. We'll kind of recap a little bit of the games last week to kind of talk about some scenarios, because there was some big games last week that really kind of solidified some teams in positions of the playoffs. So let's look at the AFC playoff picture first. And currently the way it stands right now is the Baltimore Ravens stand atop at 13-3. They have clinched the first seed. They've clinched the first round bye. The AFC playoffs have to go through Baltimore this year. So that's where we're looking at. Currently right now we also have Miami is in, Kansas City's in, Jacksonville is in, Cleveland's in, Buffalo's in, the Colts are in. So what I'll do here, and then we can kind of talk about some things, is just kind of talk some scenario stuff. Miami's in, but they haven't clinched yet. So if they win, they take the AFC East over Buffalo, which a lot of people need to understand how big that game actually is. I'd even say more so for Buffalo than anything. So Miami wins, they clinch it. They're, I believe, number 2 at that point in time. But if Buffalo wins, correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys see something different, but Buffalo's the number 2 seed if they win.
Yeah, Kansas City is locked in at the 3 seed. Okay. That's why Patrick Mahomes is not playing this week.
Okay.
Yeah, and Travis Kelce's on tour.
Per usual. So Buffalo or Miami, whoever wins gets the number 2 seed. The one team that is leading their conference in the AFC South is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Currently where they stand, if they win, they're in. They win the AFC South title. That being said, if they don't win, I believe Indianapolis has to win to get a playoff berth for sure. But then the Colts can also win if the Jaguars lose or tie. So you could actually see the Colts come in there, I believe, as a 4 seed, which would be which
it looks like
wild to me when you think about
Yeah.
the Colts, and that's another one where you really manage your backup quarterback there well with Shane Steichen, with Gardner Minshew. And then the last two here, real quick, that we'll go through, and then we'll just kind of talk through some of these games here. But Houston Texans can also clinch the AFC South if they win, and a Jacksonville loss or a tie. They clinch a playoff berth if they win and then Jacksonville loses and then Pittsburgh either loses or ties. And then the Steelers, right? They have a boatload of different ways that they can get in. Not that they can get in, but a lot of things that need to happen for them to get in. They win and Buffalo loses, they're in. They win and Jacksonville loses or ties, they're in. They win and then Houston or Indy ties, they're in. So there's a whole bunch. There's some tie situations and scenarios. If they win, they do still need some help from other people. So, which that's very interesting to me, considering some of the games that the Steelers have played this year. But
I think the most brutal thing that could happen, besides even Buffalo losing and not making it at all, because that is a possibility.
mm-hmm.
But I think the most brutal thing that could happen is the Bills do win. The Dolphins become the 6th seed and have to go to Kansas City. I think that is worst case scenario for Miami. Like, even if Miami was the freaking the 6th seed.
So,
I mean, I just think the 7th seed. I think going into Kansas City, they're the top dog of the AFC now. How many years in a row? Although they're not this year. This is the first time Patrick Mahomes going to have to play a road playoff game in his career. I just think that'd be my takeaway from that scenario in the AFC. That could be the worst for a franchise is if the Dolphins lose on Sunday night.
Just a question: what would you guys expect that spread to be?
Which one?
The Dolphins at Arrowhead playing the Chiefs.
Ooh,
I would say it's going to be. Although I think it's going to be Chiefs -2.5.
That's crazy.
It's not that crazy, and honestly, I think the big thing that stands out is the fact that the Dolphins are now chubless.
That was good.
No, but Bradley Chubb being out on their defense, I think it changes the dynamic of that defense.
Yeah, that is a shame.
I mean, they are banged up. Xavier Howard got banged up again.
Yep.
I just think it's the home field advantage in the postseason. I mean, it's going to be freezing there.
Where? Or Kansas City?
Yeah, I mean, it's always this time of year. So that's why I think they make the Chiefs a slight favorite. But I would, oh man, I mean, I know this is a hypothetical matchup, but
I would pick the Dolphins.
I'd like to. I mean, that's what I'd cheer for, but I wouldn't bet on that. I wouldn't bet on that
either.
Well, I would.
It goes back. I don't think the Chiefs are the same Chiefs, but at the same time, Chiefs in the playoffs is can be a different team.
So, yeah, I think you're right. The Chiefs aren't the same Chiefs because they can't. It doesn't look like they can put up like 21 points in a 4-minute span like they're used to.
Ball.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, they do? They look a lot scrappier than the old Chiefs too. Like they're not as showy and razzle dazzle. They're tough. They're gonna pound the ball. They're gonna try and get the big. Like they just look a lot more grittier than what the old Chiefs look like, and I think that could be even a more dangerous Chiefs team too.
And I would honestly, I'd give some credit then to Andy Reid for knowing how to coach your team, because you don't have the razzle dazzle that you used to have. You still have some talent. But you don't have Tyreek Hill. You don't have, and they didn't have him last year. But I'm saying, like, I don't know what Kelsey's deal is, but he doesn't look the same, whether his mind's elsewhere or not. But he doesn't look like the same tight end. The fact that he was actually 5th in voting for the Pro Bowl was kind of a joke to me.
Oh, it's a popularity contest.
I know it is, but I'm saying like that because I don't even think he's the second best tight end.
And it's a flag football game, right?
Yeah. No, I know. And that's a whole different story. But I don't know. So looking at the teams here that could be in or could possibly jump and get in. I mean, let's take the Ravens out of the equation, because obviously everybody knows the Ravens look like a pretty dangerous team. I mean, the way that they manhandled the Dolphins, credit to Trent, was talking about that last week. Yep. I mean, that was a statement game. The week
It
previous, the way that they played San Fran tough like they did, that was a statement game. So I mean, they've had two big statement games against the number 1 team in the NFC and the number 2 team in the AFC the last 2 weeks, and have really, what do they say now? What's the phrase? Stand on their business. Standing on business.
I don't know that phrase.
Yeah, I'm learning. But no, I really think, let's take the Ravens out of the equation. Who do you not want to play in the AFC right now, though? Looking at the teams that are kind of on that bubble, the teams that are in the playoffs right now, kind of sitting there. I don't know, what team scares you guys? You could, name a team or two. Who?
I say the Buffalo Bills.
Bills?
Bills, and I think honestly, and this is crazy to say it, but I also think the Browns.
That's
not crazy.
That's the team I think scares me the most. When you look at the teams there, they're an 11-5 5 seed. An 11-5 5 seed with a quarterback now that's throwing for over 300 yards a game. I think has as many touchdown passes as the entire Jets team the entire season. After playing 4 games, and they have a very stellar defense. So I think the Cleveland Browns at a 5 seed is scary. I don't know. I don't know what it is. The Bills still don't scare me, to be honest with you guys. There's something about the Bills that still seems off to me. They seem a little bit better, but there's something that still is off. And the fact that they struggled, what was it, last week, right?
Yeah.
Was it last week they struggled?
It was the Chargers week, 2 weeks ago.
Chargers week, yes. So it
Yeah.
was a weird trap game because the Chargers coming off of firing a head coach and everything else. But I don't know. I mean, Chargers played them tough. And the Bills seem to...
Something just doesn't seem right offensively. I mean, you got Stephon Diggs, who was in terms of fantasy football wise, for the last 8 weeks of the season was outscored by Quentin Johnson of the Chargers.
Right.
So it's like Stephon Diggs. I don't know if it goes back to how unhappy he was at the beginning of the year, but they're not clicking in the passing game. Although some would say, well, maybe they're doing what they should be doing, which is running the ball more. Which I mean, look at that. Who'd they knock off? Where Josh Allen only threw for 95 yards. It was a big win. It's slipping my mind right now. 2 weeks ago, before the Chargers, that got.
Wasn't it the Chiefs?
Was it Chiefs?
No, it was the Cowboys.
Cowboys,
okay.
yeah. Where he only threw for 95 yards.
Yeah, and he only threw 15 passes.
That's what I mean. So
and that was when Cook ran the damn ball, ran down their throats, and
that's kind of what it is. I almost feel like they don't have an identity offensively.
That's a great point.
They pick one guy who they're going to run their offense through every game. I'm telling you right now, I had him on my fantasy team, Gabe Davis. Sometimes he wasn't even getting a target for multiple weeks in a row, and I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe he's kind of being phased out. Next week, 15 targets for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, and it's like, what the heck? And same with James Cook. One game he gets 5 carries for 15 yards. Next game he's getting over 25 for 200. So it's just, I feel like they're not.
It sounds like you had management issues.
Oh wow!
No, but to your point, Trey, I think the identity, Trey, is a great way to put it out. What is their identity? Because you also got to think too. What, they fired their offensive coordinator a few weeks ago, and now they're trying to figure out what is our identity again. It's like,
don't forget that offensive coordinator got fired for having too many men on the field for field goal block. And for giving up too many points in that game.
You don't have to. We don't remember we talked about that bullshit, but
that's crazy.
But that's how I think Browns and who are they saying? I think the Bills are just hot. Teams get on a roll, but I hate that I'm going to say this. I just think it's going to be. I think it is going to be Ravens Chiefs in the AFC, if that's possible. If it's possible, that's what's going to happen. I do believe we discussed this on the side. The NFL reseeds, correct, Trey or Tyler?
Yeah, they do.
So they'll reseed. So if a 2 and a 3 are in, then
the lowest remaining seed. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping. I'll be honest with you. I'd actually love to see that matchup, though. I think the Ravens could thoroughly pound them. But
man, I don't know.
You didn't know about the Ravens now for the past 2 weeks, and they freaking crapped on two of the best teams in the entire NFL
in the regular season. In the regular season,
I know that, but I think it's
playoff
a
Lamar,
different team.
How
well do we know him?
Per one of the freest thinkers and great minds in general, Aaron Rodgers, took notice to a conspiracy of the Super Bowl logo the last 3 years.
I heard it.
Yeah,
I heard it.
Yep. So it seems like it's going to be Ravens-Niners if it lives true. So we'll see.
Trey, you were making me a little nervous talking about what Aaron Rodgers talked about this week. I was a little, you're going to get us in hot water.
Well, I'm glad he brought that up too.
Oh no. But yeah, so that's good. Tyler, how about we could let's just look at the NFC. Is there any? I know Packers are winning in.
Okay, so
that's right.
Yeah, I think you have. Looking at it, I think you have more teams in the NFC that can still possibly get in.
Oh goodness! Let's go quick with them.
No, I'm not going through every scenario, but here's where it stands right now: is the Niners have solidified their first round bye. So the NFC.
We know.
Okay, I'm repeating after the AFC.
I'm kidding.
Can I just give a quick story just to kind of personalize some things with some fans here? So, my family and I went to the 49ers Washington game this past week in Washington, which I will say was a phenomenal experience. I'll give a shout out to Commanders staff. Their stadium staff was awesome. Took photos for my family. They were great. Like it was very cool. The fans were cool. I'd also like to give a big shout out to the 49ers faithful because I'll tell you what, you want to talk about taking over a stadium? It was a Niners home game in Washington. So shout out to the faithful for that because it was amazing. But I do have a real quick personal funny story. I was the one that actually announced the Eagles' loss to the Cardinals whilst washing my hands in the bathroom as we were leaving because it was full of Niners fans as we were all leaving, the top part of the stadium. And I said, all right, the one guy was like, oh my gosh, Arizona's within the 5, and then this guy left. So I'm like following along with my son, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I looked at my son, I was like, Niners just clinched number 1 seed. So I announced it to the entire bathroom. That bathroom was so loud, guys pounding on the walls, yelling, screaming, cheering, and this is in Washington. It was a very funny scenario, but kind of cool that, my son looked at me, he's like, whoa, Dad, what the heck's going on here? But it was a pretty cool scenario.
They travel well.
They do travel well. But, yeah, so Niners were first here. But, yeah, Trent, you mentioned a big part of this, too, is Green Bay just has to win, man. Green Bay wins, and they're in. The other team that's still kind of on the fence with stuff is Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay sits at 8-8 right now. And I believe it's the New Orleans Saints are the team that can also win the NFC. And the Falcons could possibly win the NFC South as well.
Yeah. Wow.
So, how would that work? Yeah, I guguess they would. 8-9, 8-9. Whew, man. Yeah, if the Bucks lose, we may see another 8-9 team in the playoffs here, like we've seen a few times in the past. But I think
only in one conference.
Right, but you guys remember we talked about that conference in the beginning of the year too, and we said it's like flaming dog poo on a front porch.
Yeah.
And
do you remember when
it comes down to?
I think those three teams though, the Bucks, Saints, and Falcons, all started out like 4-0 though.
Oh yeah,
which is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't figure the Falcons out. That's one of the hardest teams I've ever watched to actually bet on, and I can't figure them out for shit. Saints, it's what Derek Carr is going to show up. Is it going to be Derek Carr that is hurt on the sidelines, or Derek Carr that can be a gamer? And the Buccaneers, I'll tell you right now, is that Baker Mayfield's playing like a dog. So he's pretty hot right now in terms of getting his team going. So Bucks kind of have it a little bit easy here when you really look at it. As Tampa Bay wins, they're in. They clinch the South, no matter what.
They played Carolina.
Yep.
Right. So, again, they win, they're in. So, but looking at it, too, they can still clinch it if they tie. And then Seattle loses and Green Bay loses or ties, which is I hate the tie scenarios. It's so weird to me just because I hate the fact that you can tie in the NFL. But story for another day. Dallas still has not actually clinched the NFC East. Dallas wins, they're in. They play the Commanders this week. I believe it's in Washington. And if Dallas wins, they win the NFC East. If they don't, then I think they drop to the 5 seed.
Correct.
As long as the Eagles win.
As long as the Eagles win, and the Eagles, I believe, this week play the Giants.
They do.
So,
tell you what, wouldn't make that a shoe-in though.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like when you look at these games, it's like, oh, well, the Eagles should win. Like the Eagles are going to play their guys because they want to try to get the 2 seed. You know what I mean? Dallas is going to play their guys because they want to get the 2 seed. So it's like they both have games where it's like they should win. But at the same time, I mean, again, go back to Philly, man. I don't know what the heck is going on there. There's a ton of speculation and rumors with A.J. Brown being an issue in the locker room and not trusting guys and trusting people. He's also come out and spoken, talked about that not being true. I don't know. I don't know what's going on because it honestly, though, looks like, and I think, Trent, we talked about it last week with Dad on the cast, is the Eagles look like the Eagles, not of last year, but of 2 years ago, when they made Jalen Hurts their starting quarterback and tried to make Jalen Hurts do everything, is they're not trusting the team around him to get things done. And I think that's kind of the issue here. I mean, you lost to the Cardinals last week, man. Like, the Cardinals that had nothing to play for. And the Cardinals drove it down and spanked them in the last minute.
Actually, they did have something to play for, and that would have been Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
and they might have blown that now.
But you know what, though? And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate Vrabel in his interview recently when he talked about, like, oh, is everybody tanking? He's like, you know what? Losing sucks. Yeah. Like, and, he went at the guy. And it really does show you that these teams aren't tanking, dude. Unless you're former Dolphins coach.
Well, I think the Eagles situation is another reminder that a lot of people
allegedly, sorry.
Yeah. No, what I was going to say is I think this Eagles situation is kind of a reminder to people that coordinators and offensive schemes and defensive schemes do matter more than what people think. I mean, the teams that can keep those guys together and maybe buy them another year on their coaching staff are the ones that succeed. Look at the enemy with the Chiefs for all those years when he should have gotten a head coaching job. Look at the Lions offensive coordinator this year who stayed and they're successful again. But the Eagles lost both their coordinators, and granted, actually the guy that beat them this last week was one of them. And I don't know, maybe it's affecting their offense and their chemistry and their offensive schemes more than what people realize.
And don't forget, the Eagles replaced their defensive coordinator like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and made Patricia, right? their DC. Like,
yeah. I don't know. It's just
the guy.
The Eagles. It's a weird. I don't know what to think of the Eagles, and because every week I'm like, oh, they're going to bounce back big, like no question about it. And ever since the 49ers loss, I think they've just been different.
Yeah, a little broken.
Yep.
But yeah, so it is very interesting because real quick, and then Trent, I'll let you speak your point here. So Niners are in for sure. Cowboys are in for sure. Lions are in for sure. Which that whole play call really affected a lot of bullshit though, with the Lions losing.
So sketchy, man.
I think the Eagles, team that's most angry might be the Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles are in, and then the Rams are also in. Which I'll be honest with you, I did not see that shit coming.
Yeah, the Rams are a weird one.
Like didn't right. They were actually solidified in the playoffs.
100%, yeah. But that's
and this week you got Carl Wentz versus Sam Darnold.
I think it was mid-season awards. I gave Sean McVay the coach of the year, and you guys kind of scoffed at me. I think that might he's a contender, is he not? Like I'd like to see his odds. I haven't really followed that.
I think scoff's a harsh word.
No, you guys giggled at me like you giggled at my.
How are you gonna
not
give it to
Super Bowl?
How are you gonna not give it to Stefanski?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
don't get me wrong. Right now in odds.
There's too many guys ahead of him. But Trey, Todd, I want to ask you a question. Does it I guess, what would you have rather seen to make sure that you could only see either the Cowboys or the Eagles in the NFC Championship? Would you rather that be the Eagles being the team that you could only run into in the NFC Championship, or would you rather that be the Cowboys that you could only run into in the I guess who would you have rather played?
Are you saying who do I think is better, basically, Cowboys or Eagles?
Yeah, because now there's a chance that you're going to have to go through. You're going to have to play Philly and Dallas to get to the Super Bowl.
Possibly.
And I think that's brutal.
Yes and no. I mean, I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but neither of them worry me, especially if it comes through San Fran. I'm not worried about it. I would say.
Who does worry you?
In the NFC?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Okay.
There's not really an NFC. I'll be honest. There's not an NFC team I'm really too concerned about. And
okay.
when you look at it top to bottom, I mean, who I would love to see, and could possibly happen. I'd love to see the Rams.
Yeah.
Just because.
What seed are they?
6.
It'll be a 6 or 7.
No, I think they'll be a 6 no matter what.
6 no matter what. Yeah, they can't.
Unless
they can't improve.
Because I don't think Green Bay can jump them.
No.
Yeah, but if the Eagles win, Cowboys will jump to 5. No. If the Packers get in, the Packers are over the Rams in the wild card.
So Packers
Are
be
they?
6.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then, and I did. You know what? I think you're right because I did see that because it's like the Rams. Who would you rather see? Would you rather see the Lions? Would you rather see the Cowboys?
Yeah.
So it's like the fact that they're starting Carl Wentz for the first time this year, which is still mind blowing to me.
There's 2 really cool scenarios that could happen out of this. Is you could see either Matt Stafford potentially have to return to Detroit.
Yeah.
Which I would love for Detroit to just pound his ass. I mean,
Whoa.
Okay. That's a football saying. Okay, pound them. Anyway, but
is it?
I
What kind of football you watching there, Trent?
Yeah.
I would love to see them hit him very hard. Okay. But then again, I honestly think if this happens, this is 100% going to happen through and through. Packers get in and they play the Cowboys. Packers versus McCarthy.
Yeah.
And Packers upset the Cowboys for sure.
Packers do own the Cowboys. That's for
You know
sure.
what that would mean, Trey?
If the Packers play the Cowboys,
Yeah, I do.
the Packers are winning. What would that mean? Oh, Lord.
Then it would be a Packers-Niners matchup.
I think we're gonna have to do a
I might-
segment podcast where
I was gonna say I might
Tyler.
skip that week. Yeah.
I was gonna say, it's just
I'd
me
skip
with-
that week too
me
if I were you.
Me with Tyler and then me with Trey for another episode, and I'm just the messenger.
Yeah, I don't know if I could talk to Tyler.
Oh man.
Actually, no, I could because you know what? Packers have nothing to lose. The Niners have everything to lose.
Tyler, wait, that's wrong. Trey, are you sure? I'm not 100% if the Packers get in. I don't think they can jump the Rams.
Yes, they do. Because
Do they?
yeah, I'm telling you.
Well, hold on. So if the Rams lose, they're 9-8.
Never mind. So then,
If
okay,
the Packers,
so
if the
here's-
Packers win, they're 9-8. So they'd both be 9-8. Divisionally,
The Rams have to lose.
Well, but hold on. Divisionally, which I think is
gonna
the next
lose.
thing that they look at, then it would be Rams are
Head-to-head.
4-1. So they would, if the Rams lose, they're 4-2. If the Packers win, they're both 4-2.
and
then
then
it's head to
head-to-head.
head, and that's the Packers beat them.
Packers beat them
Yeah.
because it would
Yeah.
it would actually come down to head to head because when it goes record,
So-
divisional, conference, they would both be 7-5 too. So they'd both be 4-2 in division. They'd both be 7-5. So then it would come down to head to head, and then the Packers would be
Yeah.
6.
So
It was when Ripien was playing Q
Phew.
Oh, yeah.
for the Rams.
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And Trey, I will say this too, man. Looking at statistically, I got to give Jordan Love some credit. He has been playing and balling out. So
Yeah.
no
I mean,
disrespect to what he's been doing.
yeah, he's been a very overproducing quarterback, I think, especially for the team he has around him. There's the youngest team in the last 30 years in the NFL, like easily the most inexperienced team as well. And to do what they're doing, I think they're 8-8, they're 500. I mean, that's much better than what everyone thought. So
well, and that today they kind of talked about it a little bit on McAfee. Maybe it was 2 days ago. Was the Guntagun or whatever his name is?
Guntageis, yeah.
Guntagun, yeah. He had his vision. He's doing what he wanted, and to actually have the Packers in the playoff with the team that he's, I guess, put together.
Well, let's not jump because this happened last year. The Packers they had a must-win game.
No, but what I'm saying
last
is
week at home and they lost.
Right, but you had Aaron Rodgers last year too. But I'm saying this is the team that he put together.
Right.
That he's said, okay, this is our future here. And the fact that you're at 8-8 right now, literally a win away from the playoffs, I think is kind of telling.
Which was supposed to be a rebuild year, really.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I was one that dogged him, as being an idiot and get rid of Rodgers and everything else. I'll be the first to admit I dogged him, but they're doing all right. 8-8 this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it can only go up.
Right. They just need to tie up some loose ends on the defensive end, I think, too.
I also find it, and Trent, I think you and I talked about it a little bit at one point in time, too, is, not anymore right now with Seattle being out, but, remember we talked about the, NFC North with having the Vikings in at one point. You had the Packers in at one point, and you had Detroit in at one point. We're like, holy shit. You have 3 teams from the North, and then at one point in time, then it was actually the Niners, the Rams, and the Seahawks, which, again, didn't see that shit coming. I could see Seattle being in there as a wild card. I think, Trey, you pointed that out at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of evened out a little bit. Now you got Niners and Rams for sure, and then you got Detroit and Green Bay, and then obviously Dallas and Philly. So it's NFC, man. Whew. Tight as shit, It's anything could happen right now, but
they're just all beating each other up. It's great competition.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And I also I agree with that, Trey. And I also think it's interesting too is that Bears number 1 pick. We got to figure out what the hell they're going to do with that shit.
They got to trade it.
Trade it.
Trade it and get so much draft stock where you build up the team around Justin Fields.
And dude, they need draft stock.
Yes.
Because honestly, it's Mitchell Trubisky is the reason
they
need draft stock.
And Justin
Trubisky, dude, they traded a shitload away for Trubisky years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
that didn't turn out well.
Not at all. Not at all.
No, because they took him over Patrick Mahomes.
Oh God.
Which, if you guys remember, way back in the day, this is pre Bearded Baker Banter podcast. I was not sold on Trubisky.
I think he just came out of nowhere, and he was this highly touted prospect, and I really didn't see what he did that made it that way.
1 year,
other than his build and his style of play.
1 year out of where?
He didn't. UNC.
Oh, because guess who else is gonna be a bust this year?
Yeah, I can see that.
All right. Well, hey, you guys want to get into Week 18?
Yeah, let's get into Week 18, and we'll actually transition into the national championship game.
All right. So before we start here with picks, what I'm going to do here is I'd like to read through teams that are likely resting starters, teams that are likely all out to win. And then there's kind of a murky team, and then there's basically everybody else that we don't say is we have nothing to play for, so let's just go play. And then I would also like to read off to you guys some incentives that are out there for Week 18 for players, because that is actually one of my favorite things about Week 18, even though a lot of times teams sit people, is you usually hear about guys maybe getting an extra $500K, maybe $750K, or even $1 million in some cases, depending on what they do. So,
did Brock Purdy's incentives have anything about him being the top passer in the entire 49ers history? Or being the top vote getter in Pro Bowl?
Probably have to check with his roommate to see, because I think he's so poor he has to live with a roommate.
So McCaffrey's got his back with Christmas gifts.
Which is
dude, in California, what are you thinking? Of course he has to have a roommate, dude.
I could
Okay, he makes $750,000
in California. That's nothing, Trey.
Okay, it's still something.
It's nothing.
Anyway, so
We'll
teams
live in
that
one
are
of the 10 cities.
definitely resting because they can't really move up. Which I'm still thinking the Rams are solidified, but Ravens, Browns, Chiefs, Rams, 49ers are likely resting starters. Teams that are going to have to be all out.
I know. Hold on. Shanahan said he's only resting Brock Purdy though, and obviously McCaffrey's out.
Yeah, there's no way Trent Williams plays either, but
No,
or Debo,
no,
or
Debo's
Ryan.
playing.
Anyway, they shouldn't.
Why?
But Steelers. Teams that are likely all out to win: Steelers, Texans, Colts, Jags, Vikings, Falcons, Saints, Bucks, Packers, Eagles, Seahawks, Cowboys, Bills, Dolphins. Those are pretty much all the teams that we said have multiple scenarios where they can somehow get in.
Mm-hmm.
The only team on that list that's kind of jumping out to me and confusing me is the Vikings. I didn't know that there's a path for them to get in. But
I don't think there is.
teams
you want me to tell you their path?
Yeah.
If they win, Green Bay loses, Seattle loses, Tampa Bay loses, they get in. Or they win, Green Bay loses, Seattle loses, New Orleans loses, they're in.
Wow. So they do have two paths. Wow. All right. So the one team that nobody's sure of, and the only reason that they would play their starters is for the potential seeding to get the 2 seed. That would be the Detroit Lions.
They
and
are
then
playing?
everybody else, they're labeled as kind of murky, meaning we're unaware what Dan Campbell's going to do.
So hold on. So they can still get the 2 seed.
I do believe if
Did the Lions beat the Eagles?
No, I think it's just a matter of if they. So the Eagles would go to because they lost.
If they both lose.
Yes, if they both lose and they get the 2,
And they win, yeah.
and they win. Sorry, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to play. That's why they're kind of up in the air.
Okay.
And then everybody else is just kind of the usual because there's nothing that they have to play for.
Yeah.
Some kind of notable player incentives. Odell Beckham needs 5 receptions for an additional $250K, which he said, I believe on Twitter today is don't bet on him to get it. Nelson Aguilar needs 58 receiving yards for additional $250K. Dalton Schultz, this is a spicy one. Dalton Schultz, I believe, is with the Texans, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
He needs 4 receptions for $250K. If he gets 6 receptions, he would actually get an additional $500K.
Well, he's definitely playing.
Yeah.
But you gotta. The thing is, though, is you got to think they're in a must-win game. They're not going to just cater to his incentives.
No, I know. And D'Amico Ryan's not a guy to do that either.
No, trust me, that's not. Those aren't givens. I would say. I mean, granted, he's been a great tight end for C.J. Stroud and the Texans, but
I will say this: if they have the game in hand, I do see D'Amico Ryan's, considering he was a previous player, where he would throw a quick screen to him.
Oh, for
or
sure.
like a shovel pass.
That'd be awesome. Or like give him one of those jet. You know how they pitch it.
Yeah.
Those
Underhand passes.
Touch pass.
Yeah.
Just like run 3 of those in a row. What are you doing?
You lost 3 yards every single time.
Yeah. Devin Singletary, 73 yards for $250K. Scrimmage yards, that is, for additional. DeAndre Hopkins, 49 receiving yards for $1 million. Yeah, so I think he'll get that.
He'll totally
I
get
don't,
that.
Unless Levis is out. I think
No,
he might
Levis
be
is
out.
playing. Levis is playing.
Is he? Okay, I thought he had carted off.
By the way, I didn't like his comments past week
Yeah, but
about Vol.
What did he say?
Dude, you're in Tennessee.
Hopkins,
Like, shut up.
What do you say?
He just said, like, if you're a Vol fan that still doesn't like me because I played for Kentucky, like, I don't want you to be my fan. I'm like, dude, you play for Tennessee. Like, shut up.
Wow.
I'm a Vol fan, like, and I actually like Levis, but, like, why would you make an idiotic comment like that when you play in Tennessee?
Because they should like him because of that.
maybe he's receiving a lot of crap.
Plus, he's a Penn Stater at heart.
Oh my God, you're gonna take credit for that.
Yeah, talk to your coach James about that. Maybe you should
need
play his
something
ass.
to be happy about, I guess. Here we go. Hopkins 7 receptions. We'll also get him $250K. Eckler needs 110 total yards for $100K. Adam Troutman. Not even sure, actually.
Who the hell is that?
Needs a touchdown.
No, Mike Trout plays for the Angels, Trey.
Yeah.
Needs a touchdown for
Mike
100K.
Trout needs how many home runs?
Adam Trout.
Oh, Adam Trout, sorry.
So, that's your scenarios. What do you guys say we go? Do you guys want to get in your picks?
Best bets, baby.
Whew.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I got a select few if you want me to rattle mine off quick.
Yeah, rattle them
I
off.
was gonna say we'll rapid fire them.
Okay, so I want Texans money line versus the Colts. You get pretty good money on. You can get pretty good value on that right now.
Ooh, I knew Tyler was gonna like that.
I know the Colts beat the Raiders, but after seeing their how vulnerable they are to the pass game, I mean they let Aiden O'Connell look pretty good there. So I'm going Texans money line. Colts. Stroud will shine. Huge game from him. Probably rookie of the year for offense. And then Bucks -3.5 at Panthers. I think that's going to be a lock. Baker's going to get them to the promised land.
You got them plus. Wait, what'd you get? Bucks what?
-3.5.
What book's that on?
It was on DraftKings tonight.
Yeah, they're
they might have bumped
they're -4.5 now.
They went up a whole point. And then Raiders -3. I think I've even seen them at -2.5 on FanDuel. So I'm going Raiders -2.5 versus the Broncos. As of late, we have dominated, and yes, I said we because I'm a Raiders fan. We've dominated the Broncos, and Jared Stidham returns home, where he's like loved and hated, I guess. I don't really know if anybody even cares about him. But and then my last pick is Packers money line versus the Bears.
God.
And I do believe the big upset that takes place this Sunday is I do believe the Tennessee Titans beat the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ooh, man.
Well, that transitions me great into my picks.
Hold on, so you're taking Titans money line?
Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm cheering for the Jaguars.
Wait, money line, Trent?
I think they beat them outright. I do, but I mean, I'm not. That's not really one of my. Everything else in front of that. Those 4 picks I said beforehand. Those are my picks. I'm just making the statement that I just think the Titans. I think Vrabel is gonna back up what he said in his press conference. I think they're gonna come out playing pissed off.
With that, yeah.
And I'll bet. I'll make you guys a beer bet on that.
No.
Dude, I'll take it.
On the money line?
No.
No, I want the money line.
I want the points 3.5.
Well, no, we're not doing that.
You got a team with 5 wins, and you're making Tyler take the money line.
Because you guys were talking, you think Vrabel they're going to win the game. I disagree. In fact,
they're at least going to cover the 3.5.
Well, one of my best bets is Jaguars -3.5. But
then take it then.
No, I don't want to. I want the money line.
One of my best bets is Titans 3.5. So let's beer bet it then.
All right, let's do it.
Right?
All right, 3.5.
3.5.
Titans cover.
All right, no, I don't think they do, but
no, I'm just telling you.
Jaguars -3.5. Trent, I'm on board with you on one of yours, and that's the Raiders. I did get them at -2.5 on DraftKings. Lastly, I'm going to go Seahawks -3 in Arizona. I think the Seahawks, their only fighting chance at a playoff spot is to win. I think they're gonna coach something up to where it's going to be a pretty easy game for them. Actually, I think the Cardinals are going to be bet a lot. People betting on them because they beat the Eagles last week.
But I just think if they win, they need a Green Bay loss, right?
I understand that, which, like I said, I didn't like Trent's Green Bay bet because Green Bay had the same situation last year with Detroit.
Yeah.
Home game, night game, winning you're in playoffs, and they didn't win that game.
Dude,
so
Bears are coming to the throats.
Yeah, why wouldn't they? We've absolutely owned the Bears for the last 2 decades.
Did you guys beat?
Yeah, first game of the year we beat them.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember, Trey, you have a great shirt that says "We own you."
Yep. I still own you.
That's right. How about that for you?
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
because
Tyler,
Trey actually does. Trey isn't part owner of the Packers, so Trey actually does own them.
That is
well,
correct.
he's talking about owning the Bears.
The Bears.
No, well, I know. But
well, because I'm an owner of the Packers, I also own the Bears.
Yeah.
There you go.
It all lumps in.
Yeah.
So, guys, I just want to put this in here before you continue your picks. I do track the beers that you owe me from Beer Bets, and I'm also beginning to track, because this was actually feedback, if you guys recall, from a listener that said, I'd love to see like a tracker of your Beer Bet results.
Shout out to Joey.
Yep. Jay Mills. But, so I'm now going to be recording any Beer Bet that is made during an episode, so that way I can give you your results so you can mark down who owes you what.
I'll tell you what, that's a good New Year's resolution.
That is my
track
New Year's.
the beer
I wanted
bets.
to keep track of it.
Track the beer bets.
So right now, Tyler owes me 3.
Okay. Shit.
And
does that include Jets?
No, it doesn't. This is awesome. So Tyler owes me 4.
You're welcome.
I guess that's locked in, isn't it?
Yeah, they're not getting 10.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's just me. I just want to rub it in. And then you're actually going to owe me a weather beer bet coming up this weekend, too.
Bullshit. 10.5 inches.
I know. Keep dreaming. But anyway, Trey only owes me 1 because he actually recently beat me in one, which was congrats to him. That was his first time ever.
So you're just canceling it out, or?
Yeah, I've eliminated a beer from his list that he owes me.
So as opposed to giving, you're just canceling.
Well, I mean, Trey can say how much I owe him, which would technically be 1 at this point. So we would cancel out, actually, he would still owe me 1.
Well, let's just quickly talk about that. So if a beer bet cancels out, like, is that what we're doing? We're canceling it out, or?
Well, no. What we'll do is we'll keep a win-loss record of beer bets too.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So first beer bet of the year then is Titans plus 3.5.
Yes.
Yeah, and what we'll do is we'll go by winning percentage of beer bets, since we'll probably have different amounts bet between each other. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I'll tell you what. After this weekend, you guys damn near between you two and Dad. Now, Dad's on my.
Hold on.
He's on my debt list.
Are we doing 2024 beer bets, or are we doing like?
We're starting now, but he also had to pay him his previous year.
Yeah,
okay. I always pay my dues.
You better pay your dues.
Trent's like Zacchaeus, the tax collector in the Bible.
Darn right. Hey, elected
Zacchaeus
officials.
was a wee little man.
Right?
A wee little man was
there you go. See,
guys, I'm just appalled at what's going on. I don't even know what you're talking about. But
come on, Trent.
Let's not forget, guys. On a funny side note, bringing up tax collector. You guys remember when we all agreed to write Dad's name in for tax collector?
Anyone.
Yeah.
In the county. He was the county tax collector.
John Baker, tax collector 2024. Let's get the shirts made. So I'm going to record this down right now. So Tyler and Trey.
Yep, Tyler and Trey.
And the bet is?
Jags minus 3.5 for Trey.
Titans 3.5.
3.5 points for Titans.
Come on, Will Levis.
Right. Sorry, didn't mean to take up that much time, but I wanted to put that out there. I think we should start tracking those.
Yeah. No.
So,
again, shout out to Joey. Thank you for that. It's a good recommendation, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
But those are all the picks I have. Are the Jags, Raiders, Seahawks, all with the points.
All right.
Let's do it. I like it.
I got 5 here. I got Colts plus 1. I got Lions money line. Just not very good odds. I know you guys said you had Raiders 2.5. I got Raiders minus 3, but if I can find them 2.5, I'll take them 2.5 for sure. But I'll still take them 3. I have Niners minus 4. I think Carl Wentz throws like 5 picks.
I keep calling him Carl.
Come on, Trey. It's what McAfee and
give it the time.
Okay.
It's his alter ego.
I was like, I didn't know if that was a misspeak earlier, and I was like, okay, Carson Wentz.
And then
I
am taking.
That was a bad misspeak, Tyler. That was a bad misspeak.
And then I am taking
that's
the beer
bet.
bet.
A word.
Titans plus 3.5. So.
Well, good luck with that one.
Yeah, good
I got
luck to you,
a
sir.
5-finger B teaser.
5. Wow, I didn't know we had actually had the word finger to it.
I thought we did do that.
No, just 5-leg B teaser. But
I thought the leg and finger were interchangeable. Okay.
Whoa. Speak for yourself.
Depends on the day. So here's ready.
He's like a wind tunnel over there.
All right.
Trey walks, he whistles.
All right.
Weird.
Back to my teaser. It's plus 333 odds.
Ooh, all right.
So it's and it's I got Eagles money line, so plus 0.5 essentially.
Okay.
So actually, if they tie, I could still win that bet. I got the Jaguars plus 2.5. I got the Bucks plus 1.5. I have the Colts plus 7.5, and then I have Green Bay Chicago under 51.5.
Okay.
Those are my bets. They're my teaser. I mean, sorry.
Those are spicy teaser, but yeah. I like it though.
Yeah. And you guys got any, or do we wrapping up NFL and moving on to the young boys, the young football players?
I have one. Trent, do you have a teaser?
Go ahead, Ty. You get yours first.
All right. So my teaser is. Hang on, hold on. I gotta find my other one. Ooh, okay, there we go.
I got Zacchaeus the tax collector stuck in my head.
I didn't know he was a tax collector. I just know the song.
I think he was a tax collector.
I don't know.
Why was he in a sycamore tree then?
Because he was looking for other people to collect taxes from. He's like, oh, look at that guy over there. I got to get his taxes.
No, he climbed up in a sycamore tree because the Lord, he wanted to see.
Oh, yeah, that too. And collect everybody's taxes.
Yeah, I guess. I don't think he was a tax collector, but anyway.
Why didn't anybody back in that time say taxation is theft? Because we would not be in the situation that we're in right now if somebody would have said taxation is theft. Sorry.
This is not a political.
Sorry.
Whoa, yeah. Holy.
Let's go.
It's bullshit.
All right, I'm going to read mine here.
Hold on. Zacchaeus needs it. Oh, all right. You good? All right, because I have mine too.
Yeah, here we go. So mine's five fingers or legs, whatever Troy wants to call them. Mine is for plus 6.5. It's Texans plus 5, Bucks plus 2, Packers plus 3.5, Raiders plus 4, Eagles plus 1. And that comes out to be plus 290 on a 5. Hey, my 5-leg teaser hit last week.
It did.
Yeah.
All right.
5-leg teaser.
I got a 5-finger teaser too. Mine is, I'm going with a 7-pointer here, but still plus 320. So I got the Browns plus 14, Packers plus 4, Eagles plus 2, Colts plus 8, Lions plus 4.
I like that.
So, see what happens.
Hell yeah.
It's impressive you got a 5-finger for over 300 still, or 7.5 finger.
I'll tell you what, it was very interesting because some of the odds this week is, I feel like because the games are so like fluctuated.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough. Because I'll tell you what, man.
Well, Trent kind of mentioned it earlier, but he called them murky teams. It's teams that like nothing's going to change their outcome of their season, but like do the Commanders? Okay, but do the Commanders play tough and risk losing a better draft pick?
I don't know.
Do the Jets and the Patriots try to win their games against each other this week because really they're both in the running for a high draft pick? It's stuff like that. It's like what, and honestly, Robert Saleh, who's got his job protected, probably isn't going to try to win that game, right?
If it's protected.
And why would the Patriots? Why would Belichick protect his job?
Right. That's okay.
Because he already knows he's gone.
Yeah, I might bet the Patriots this week.
I don't
Might be
know.
another one.
It is
I don't
interesting.
know either, but
Because then, okay, go back to the Commanders. Are they going to play Jacoby Brissett, or are they going to play Sam Howell again?
that's what I mean. Yeah, who knows?
Definitely Sam Howell.
Who?
Sam Howell.
Trey?
Sam.
Trey.
How?
There it is.
Dude, when I heard that actual howl every time in Commander Stadium, I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, holy shit. I was like, we've been doing this. We've been doing this all season. All right.
Yeah.
You guys ready to jump into the national championship here? We got a good one.
Sir.
Yeah,
We got a good one.
let's do it.
We got
All right.
giant
Yep.
Penix energy.
Wow.
Giant.
I'll tell you what.
Oh.
What are the chances? What are the chances we bring this guy up probably every single week when we talk about college football, and here he is, last week standing.
What are the chances?
And we
Why don't
just-
you ask me? I'll tell you what the chances are.
Here we go.
'Cause
I
I've
was
been
thinking,
talking
me and
about it
Trent
all
were
season.
talking. I know, me and Trent were talking. You might want to change like your fandom.
Yeah.
The way because you've definitely talked and watched and cheered for the Washington Huskies than you did for any other college team this year, including your Volunteers. So.
Well, but
I mean,
here's the
Tyler,
situation though.
I honestly think you got to make sure you have a box of Kleenex
Ooh.
while you watch the national championship for some what? I was for happy tissues.
Hey man,
Mhm.
listen. Here's the situation. What you got to
No
understand.
sad tissues.
What you have to
For
understand
his
though
Penix.
is no, but like honestly, it's not
I'm kidding.
like I've been a Volunteers fan for a while, right? But at the same time, like this year, yes, I've been cheering for Washington, but it is not necessarily like once Penix leaves, I don't know that I can cheer for Washington. Like I'd have to give it a chance and see because, I mean, he's really like the only reason I've cheered for Washington because he is a great player. He's a great quarterback. I mean, I think the conversation needs to be had now too as to why did he not win the Heisman? Because I think that whole thing was bullshit.
I think a lot of talk is the fact that he plays on the West Coast.
And that's what some of the conversation was. Nobody's watched Washington play.
That's not true. I don't think that's true because they played in a lot of big games this year, and they're probably one of the teams I've watched the most.
And he won every single one of them, and was not the Heisman winner.
But he wasn't putting up Heisman numbers for multiple weeks, Tyler.
There were a couple weeks where he did.
There were a couple weeks where he didn't even have a touchdown.
But you know what, Ty? Can I just say this? Because I understand that you would like for him to get that Heisman. However, I think he would rather a national championship.
Oh, for sure.
And me personally, as like even a fan of a player, like I feel like I'd rather see my favorite player get a championship than it would be like an MVP award.
Oh, for sure.
Like I would have rather. I know this is totally off topic. Like I would have rather seen JJ Redick his senior year get a national championship than see him win the Naismith.
Yeah.
So
you
gotta look at that positive that way, and you get another week to watch him for Washington. And I guess I'm just torn at who to cheer for. To be honest with you guys, I like Harbaugh. I think I like his like give the middle finger to the Big Ten, give the middle finger to the NCAA type mentality. I like the guy as a coach.
What's wild to me is that Michigan is.
But I also am. I'm happy to see a team that's like never been in it, or never. I mean, let's be real. The Pac-12 has been in the national championship, I think, like once with Oregon, and they got destroyed by was it Bama?
Yeah, Washington won a national championship a while back.
I know. I'm saying in the playoff though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's like we get two teams. I mean, hell,
you don't have an SEC school in, which is nuts.
It's been how long since even Michigan's been in the national championship?
Right. Right, like Woodson.
So I don't even know if they were then.
Yeah. No, I think what you're seeing, and you go back to, let's say, Michigan, and, again, I listened to McAfee, today and stuff, and it was very interesting is Harbaugh missed 6 games.
Yeah.
Like, he's been suspended for almost more than half the season, and they're still going into the national championship undefeated. Like, not only like give a testament to Harbaugh, but like give a testament to his coaching staff and his players because they've had to deal with a shitload of adversity all season long. All the bullshit they're dealing with.
Did you listen to his post game?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's who he praised. He praised his staff.
Yeah, and that's a testament to him. I mean, again, going back, I'm a Niner fan. I loved Harbaugh when he was with San Fran, but like that's a testament to like the team he can put together with the guys he can bring in and everything else. And it's great for them. I'm still on Washington Huskies, man. I think Washington takes it. I think they're a dog again, as they've been like I feel like the last like 5 or 6 games. At least the last 2. But they were plus 10 dog against Oregon, and they were plus 4.5 I think against Texas, and won both games. And right now, I believe currently, correct me if I'm wrong, they sit plus 4.5 as dogs.
Yep.
Yes, they do.
I already had that bet for damn sure. Because I think they win. I think they win it. So,
I'm not gonna lie. I actually bought 2 additional points on Washington to get them at 6.5 for minus. I think it's like minus 125, minus 130.
Yeah.
So, that's something that's a strategy that I think sometimes gets frowned upon is buying some points. But I mean, you can get some good odds still.
I truly, I mean, I look at both the games like from this past week. Michigan played a tough game against Alabama, had to come down to overtime and win, right? Washington played a tough game. They came down. I mean, hell, their defense had to stop Texas. And guess what? They
almost didn't.
Well, they did. Like,
so, yeah, I think the bigger story to that game, Tyler, is one, like Washington winning as an outright underdog, which has only happened actually 3 times since 2019. But the one thing that kind of blew my mind was why was Texas playing everyone one-on-one on the outside? Like, why didn't they make adjustments? Why didn't they know that is one of Washington's strengths? They got three great wide receivers, a quarterback with a great arm that has been doing it for 2 years. He's been playing the deep ball well. Why are you playing their guys one-on-one on the outside? It didn't make sense to me. I know you're trying to maybe get pressure to Penix and throw him off a little bit, but it clearly wasn't working. And because of that's why they lost the game. I think so many big chunk plays for Washington.
Right, and I totally think this actually solidified. Two players in the NFL draft here is I think it solidified Penix being a top 10 pick in my book, personally, and again, bias aside, I definitely take him over Drake May, for sure. And I would definitely take him over Caleb Williams.
Oh no! Come on.
Why? Okay, tell me what differentiates Caleb Williams from Michael Penix.
It's going to sound. I have 2 things. It's going to sound stupid. Lefty quarterbacks very rarely succeed in the NFL.
Okay.
2, coming off of 2 ACL surgeries. Okay. He's an older NFL quarterback. When you can have guys that are more explosive, more versatile, and are younger and will have more years, I think, under their belt than Caleb Williams and Drake May.
Okay.
I mean, that's just me personally, but
I don't know, man. Like, I just look at, I don't know. I look at, I don't think Drake May is going to be successful, and not.
I don't think so either.
I just think it goes back to the fact of it's North Carolina quarterbacks, and it goes back to Trubisky. Like, I just don't think he's going to be successful. I know, Trent, you were all on the Drake May bandwagon at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, totally, he was.
You were. That was your Heisman guy, so don't even deny that.
Drake May was my Heisman guy, or Caleb Williams?
I think it might have been Drake May.
No, I was on Caleb Williams, and I was also on Notre Dame's quarterback.
Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman.
Yeah, I'm
sorry.
I wasn't on Drake May
Not
at
Drake
all.
May. No, but you did like Drake May.
I think he's good, but I was also the one that said UNC would not be as good as everyone thinks. I said it's going to be typical UNC. They're going to start off hot, and then they're going to drop a mediocre game in the ACC, and then their season will downfall. And that's exactly what happened this year. So definitely not on Drake May. So don't put those words in my mouth, Tyler. But I say we just go right to it. Let's go to the picks. What do you got on here?
One thing before we go back to quarterbacks and prospects. There's one quarterback that I think that will be one of the most successful besides maybe Caleb Williams.
Okay.
That I think is overlooked a lot. Any guesses? He was not mentioned at all in anyone we just talked about.
Jaden Daniels.
Nope.
Bust. Draft bust. We'll get it. We're gonna have a whole episode on this.
So anyway, I'll just go ahead and say it. Bo Nix.
Oof.
I think he's got the experience. I think he has the style of play. And I think with a good NFL roster around him and maybe a good offensive line, I think he's going to succeed very well in the NFL.
I mean, weirdly enough, you know who he reminds me of? And you're going to know what I mean when I say weirdly enough. He reminds me of Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he has the arm like Justin Herbert, though.
No, but he also played at Oregon.
I was going to say he reminds me of Kyle Trask.
All right.
You don't think Bo Nix is going to start off his career as a backup for a couple of years?
Depends on where he goes.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's going to be a backup.
Penix might be your Raiders quarterback, dude.
Don't get me wrong, I'll take it.
The dude's got a cannon.
Yeah,
and
I think there's other needs, but quarterback is definitely a need.
Yeah,
where we're going to be. So, but yeah.
All right, let's get into these picks.
All right, go ahead. Picks.
All
Michigan,
right.
Washington. Let's get it.
We going spread or money line?
Wow. The spread is where you're going to have to go. 4.5 right now.
Okay. I'm going to bet Washington plus 4.5, but I think Michigan wins the game.
Okay.
Whew.
Fair enough.
So then you're thinking freaking absolute nail biter.
Oh yeah! Look at these last two games.
Yeah, No, I don't disagree with that. I think it's going to come down to probably a under 7-point game.
Mr. Sharp Trey over there, man.
Hey, I did it with Texas too.
He did say with Texas.
But Washington ended up winning that anyway.
Yeah. I can't bet against Washington. Like I've gone on runs. Yeah, I've gone on runs against teams where I'm just like, there's no way they're going to win. There's no way they're going to win in multiple sports too, and they just continue to like rain on my parade. So I'm like, you know what? I've made this comment. Made this comment back earlier in the year that I'm joining the Washington bandwagon, and I'm going to continue to support them. So I got Washington at 4.5. Like I told you, I invested to buy a couple points too. So I also got them for 6.5 just to be safe. I'd love to get them for 7, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
Obviously, you guys kind of know where I'm at. I am on Washington, obviously on plus 4.5 for sure. But Washington wins the national championship. I think they surprise some people. I think it is going to be there's going to be a big factor that people have to take into consideration too, which I'm not sure what his status is. But Washington's running back got a little dinged up this previous week, so that'll definitely play some sort of factor. But honestly, I don't think you can actually write off Penix to Ndunze all game. And Penix has made dime passes all game, and I think he's going to continue to do so. I think it is a high-scoring game. Personally, I really hope it's over 61. That's a gambling standpoint of things that I actually have put down to win quite a few dollars. But
because I thought the line was at like 55.
It's 56.5. I think.
Gotcha.
But I have it at 61. So, but I do think Washington kind of runs the table. Michigan's gonna fight. It's gonna be a great game.
Yeah.
But I do think that Washington has that I don't know, they have this weird tenacity where they're down, they're just gonna fight back, claw back. Like Penix is like, screw this shit, let's go. So
yeah, the trend you said it too earlier. It's just like Washington's been one of those teams where it's like I bet against them, and they just constantly cost me. So
all the time, you bet against them all the time.
Yeah, well,
Trent's joined the bandwagon, dude.
I did.
I've been on the Huskies all season long.
So, Ty, you putting out a money line ticket?
Oh, for sure.
All right.
I got to because every pick'em that I'm in, I picked Washington. I have to put some sort of money line ticket out there. So.
Okay.
But.
I like it.
I'm on Penix and the Huskies.
I like the confidence. There. So, hey, how about, before we wrap this up, let's talk about the real national championship. I'm sorry, the other national championship this weekend. Come on, guys. The FCS national championship.
Right.
We got the South Dakota Jackrabbits versus the Montana Grizzlies, also known as the Grizz.
Yeah.
So South Dakota and I already placed my ticket on this. South Dakota is minus 13.5 favorites.
What?
Against Montana.
I'm going Montana plus 13.5.
That is where I sit as well.
Man.
Absolutely.
You guys are both on Montana plus 13.5.
Yeah, I think in a national championship, those two teams are tough. Like they're both good teams. And I know South Dakota State is obviously a heavy favorite. Yes, they're the 1 seed. But the Grizzlies had to knock off and survive some very, very tight, nail-biting games. I mean, they knocked off Furman, I think it was, in overtime.
What's Furman's mascot again?
Paladin.
Oh, the Paladins.
Paladins. Yeah, Paladins. Yep, like radar. Yep. And then...
Yeah, not palindromes.
Yeah, they're going to palindromes.
Sorry, I always mess
Paladins.
that up.
The Knights.
And then they also knocked off North Dakota State last week, even though North Dakota State was an at-large. Still a very, very tough team to beat in postseason play with their reputation. So I'm going with the Grizz to cover 13.5. Might be like a 10-point game.
I'm with
taking South Dakota State.
Minus 13.5?
Yeah, they're too good.
All right.
If you want to beer bet it, I'm not taking 13.5 as a beer bet.
Well, then I'm not taking it.
You sound like a little kitty cat over there.
Give me 10.
Oh my gosh.
No. 3.5 points is a lot of points, Ty. I might give you the hook
Sound
at
like
13.
a kitty cat, really.
Read between the lines, Ty.
I know. Sound like a kitty cat over there. Awesome.
Kitty cat.
I'll take 13.
Well, anyway.
Give me 13.
13 for a beer bet.
13 for a beer bet. South Dakota
you
State.
know, I don't. I can't
What?
willingly. I'll tell you what. I mean, you already owe me.
Who's
But
the
this
kitty
is like
cat
a
now?
free. This is like a freebie for you. Like none of us really cap FCS football.
I've watched South Dakota State a lot in the playoffs.
How many times have you watched?
Actually, every playoff game that they played in, me and Owen have watched them because Owen will tell you about them. I'm telling you, dude. When nothing's on, I watch the playoffs.
Do it, Trent.
Yeah. All right. I'll
13?
do 13. Yeah,
Wow.
this is unlike me because I usually only make beer bets where I'm like super confident. I'm not super confident in this, but
Oh, here we go. Look, it already sounds like an excuse being made.
no, it's okay. Just so you guys understand, Zacchaeus is going to be coming here soon to your doors from the sycamore tree. Saying,
I was gonna say, what are you gonna sit in the sycamore tree?
yeah, pay up, boys.
Oh man.
It's awesome.
Oh, hey, that was a quality season 2 opener there, guys.
Yeah. Hey,
it's fun. It's fun wrapping up the NFL season, college season.
So
soon we'll be heading into the thick of the college basketball season too.
Here's what we're looking into. Obviously, yes, we're getting into college basketball season, but with our podcast here, we're looking at to possibly next week. We'll kind of see where we're at, but definitely get into the video podcasting things with the world. Still be on Spotify, still be on Apple, but we're actually looking to get into our video podcasting aspect of things. So keep an eye out for that in the upcoming episodes. Obviously, it's still going to be on the same platforms, but you'll also be able to see us, listen to us. So check that out. That's one of our New Year's resolutions here. So moving forward, but other than that, anything else, guys?
No, like I said, you can't believe football season's already over. It feels like it was a blink of an eye, but it's fun discussing it all with you guys throughout the year, and I'm looking forward to see what happens there in the near future. So.
Heat of the moment, man. We still got NFL playoffs.
It ain't over, Trey. Stop jumping.
I'm in my feels.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Get out of those feels.
Just make sure you stand on your business.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, little kitty cat.
Hey, look that shit up. All right. Well, hey, appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Take it easy, fellas.
All right. Yep. Hey, have a great weekend. Have a great first 2024 weekend. Happy New Year. Peace.
See you.